Joining us now with his reaction to the iPad is Nick Ciarelli. He is a tech writer for the Daily Beast. Nick is the former publisher and editor-in-chief of the now-defunct Apple blog Think Secret. The Wall Street Journal once called Think Secret one of the most influential websites about Apple. Nick, so glad to have you with us in the newsroom. You were 13 when you started that first blog, right?
That's right. I ran the site for about 10 years, and I've been at the Daily Beast for the last year and a half.
And we know about Apple's obsession with secrecy, so eventually, I know you can't talk about it because there was a settlement, but they shut your site down because you were on to many of their developments a little bit sooner than they wanted you to be.
That's right. I've moved on to the Daily Beast.
All right, excellent. I'm sure they are more than glad to have you. So Gigi just gave us a quick review there, the good, the bad, the ugly of the iPad. What did you make of it?
You know, Apple did something really remarkable yesterday and a little bit risky in some ways. If you look at Apple's potential customers, most of them have a smartphone and a laptop, usually both. And what Apple's done here is Apple's arguing that there's room for a third product category right in the middle between the smartphone and the laptop for people who want to read their email, browse the web, run applications, and that's what led to the announcement of the iPad yesterday.
But that's almost an interesting concept. So it's not a laptop, it's not really a netbook replacement, it's in the middle. So could being in the middle hang them?
Exactly. I mean, in a lot of ways, this is Apple's response to the netbook. Netbooks, of course, have seen extraordinary growth over the last couple of years, but Apple's management and Apple CEO Steve Jobs, they find that the netbooks have too many compromises. So they argued yesterday that the iPad is really a better way for someone who wants to curl up on the couch and browse the web.
64 gigabytes, is that enough? Is it enough power?
Well, we'll see. The people who got to use it yesterday raved about the speed. They raved about the industrial design. But really, most of all was the price point. The price point was really a welcome surprise to people yesterday.
Yeah, sort of the more stripped-down version to be able to get it. Yeah.
Exactly. In the run-up, all the speculation in the run-up to the announcement, some analysts had been speculating the price point would be as high as $1,000.
But there's 3 models and sort of staggered pricing.
Exactly. There's a range of models starting at $499, and that was good news to a lot of Apple watchers.
We know that Apple wants to revolutionize the publishing business, sort of consolidate all our gadgets. I mean, is this going to be the product to do it? This isn't their first stab at this. It's the most public stab, but it's not the first go-around. What makes this time different?
It may be. Apple's demonstrated that with the App Store and with the iTunes Store, if they can figure out a way to make the purchase process easy for the consumer, people will pay for content. So a lot of traditional media companies, newspapers, and magazines have clearly been betting on the iPad as something that will get people to pay for their content. The New York Times showed off a pretty impressive application yesterday.
Very interactive. I remember reading about it. Yeah.
Exactly. In a lot of ways, it emulated the look and feel of a print newspaper, but also introduced functionality that you can really only get on a touchscreen tablet. So I think you'll see a lot of media companies follow the lead of the New York Times and introduce apps like that.
What about the argument that it's still not as mobile as the iPhone, which fits in your pocket?
Well, that's the big question. Can Apple convince consumers that in addition to a laptop and an iPhone, there is this third product category in the middle? And the jury's still out on whether consumers are going to buy into that concept, but we'll have to wait and see.
All right, Nick, we only have about 20 seconds left. If there is one metric to watch to show that this is successful or unsuccessful, what is it and when is it?
Well, I've been really interested in what this means for ebooks. A lot of people are calling this a Kindle killer. I don't think that's the case. I think that the Kindle and the iPad are really different devices for different people. But book publishers have been waiting for another tech heavyweight to enter the ebook space, and I think it'll be interesting to watch.
Nick, a pleasure to have you with us in the newsroom. Thanks so much for coming in. Nick Ciarelli, their technology writer for the Daily Beast.